Do you think it's important to learn music history? I'll admit my answer used to be no, and probably no thank you. But thankfully, I've changed my mind, and I hope I've changed yours as well. So, I'm sharing some ways to make music history fun and engaging with interactive activities for everyone. Whether you're a piano teacher looking for some ideas, homeschooling parent, or a self learner. Be sure to watch to the end. I'm going to be sharing how easily you can modify interactive music history activities for different ages and skill levels. If we haven't met, I'm Rosemarie Penner, creative piano teacher and composer at Must Love Music. And whether you're a parent eager to inspire your child's musical journey, an adult looking to fulfill your own piano dreams, or someone in search of beautiful sheet music, you're in the right place. So welcome, and let's make some music together. Now, as a teacher, I've learned that tricking my students into learning with lots of engaging, fun activities is best. My students engage in deep learning on topics that they might not be totally into, like music history. The interactive activities also make piano lessons a fun place to be, both for them and for me. Interactive learning is important for any skill or concept, but especially when it's a topic that many people tend to tune out, like music history. Interactive learning boosts retention with deep learning, meaning you're using all of your senses to create memories that last a long time. These keep learners engaged so that they realize it's actually a fascinating topic, and it makes challenging topics, again like music history, more accessible and enjoyable. Now, I remember feeling like music history was abstract and distant. Why did I want to learn about a bunch of people who lived a long time ago in another country? What could this possibly teach me about playing piano? Well, it turns out a lot. And it wasn't until I learned about and started using and creative interactive materials about music history that it became a lot more relatable and memorable, both for my students and myself. I'm going to share several ideas, but since digital music escape rooms are the easiest and most interactive activity in my studio, that's where we're starting. There's a few steps to get the most out of any digital escape room that you use or create. Step one is choose the right escape room for teaching or for self-study. Which era or composer do you want to focus on? Do you want something done for you or that you create for yourself? Now, as someone who has created about 85 digital escape rooms at the time of this recording, there is a lot of research that goes into each escape room to determine what is interesting and engaging. And so there's a reason I don't create these all the time. But if you're going to do it, just understand it's not as simple as just throwing the form together. If you want these to be great, you have to put in the time. Step two is pre-lesson or pre-activity setup. So this might be a little bit more towards the teacher side of things, but if you have something that is done for you and self-marking, that's personally my favorite type. So that's the type I create. You don't have to do anything more than just open or share the music history themed digital escape room. Having it self-marking has been a lifesaver on many, many occasions in my studio. And so highly recommend if it's done for you, just make sure that you don't need to do a lot. If you're a teacher or a homeschooling parent, look over the questions and the answers beforehand, and this can help you determine whether any questions might need a little help or enrichment for your child or your student. And if you're doing this as a self-study, can you just get started or do you need a little bit more information? Hopefully you can just click on it and get started. If you have purchased these for yourself, chances are you'll need to go to the preview button, and that's going to open another tab. You can type in your information and go through it. Otherwise, you're seeing all the answers, and then what's the point? Step three is to blend it in with your piano playing or with your students' piano playing. The fun part of piano lessons or learning piano is playing piano. It's not the worksheets, right? No, nobody ever said, oh my goodness, my favorite part of learning was worksheets. Now, these are not worksheets if you're doing digital escape rooms, but if you're learning an instrument, theory is one thing, playing is another. So play a piece from that era or composer after you've completed the digital escape room. This helps make it a little bit more memorable, relatable. You aren't going to be like I was, where it's like, what does that have to do with my playing? And I'm going to share a few more ideas as to how you can blend this with your piano playing in just a moment. So not only will you have fun with your music history themed digital escape rooms, whether you're creating them or you're buying them, you're also getting deep learning and making the activity a lot more interactive by adding it to your playing. Just before I share 3 more interactive music history activities, did you know we have intro sessions coming up in 2 weeks? Time is running out to sign up for these. Now, these 3-week September sessions are perfect for beginners of all ages to try out piano lessons, and there's lots of interactive learning and playing. Learn more and find out about upcoming dates using the link in the description. So here's 3 more activities that you can use. You could use them independently, or you could use them in conjunction with those digital escape rooms that I was telling you about. If you're using both, it creates a really multi-sensory interactive environment that you're learning and having even deeper learning. So activity 1 is composer detective. You can use facts or clues from the digital escape room to create a fun mini game about the composer. You could also create a mini game where it's about guessing the genre or the concept that you're going to be covering in the next piece of music. Activity 2 is a musical timeline challenge. For those who like to see things in a linear way or who are really artistic, then creating a timeline can be absolutely fantastic. After completing the escape room and hearing some fantastic music along the way, you can arrange key events to deepen the understanding of the musical era or the composer's life. You could even go beyond the digital escape room and do a little research as well in terms of that composer or that era so that you can make a pretty incredible timeline. These are fantastic for both studios and at home activity. For homeschoolers, this is a wonderful cross-curricular activity that blends music and history together. Activity 3 is creative improvisation. Now, if you've watched my other videos, this suggestion comes as no surprise whatsoever, especially after last week's video when I had you improvising using styles from music history. What you're going to do is take something that you have learned and try it out with a song that you are currently working on. What if it's not from that era? That's totally fine. As a composer, I do this all the time. I take inspiration from many different places and many different parts of history. So try it out. Maybe it doesn't sound great, or maybe it sounds amazing and you've created something new. You could try improvising using a technique, a concept, or a genre that was covered in a digital escape room. And using music history as inspiration, you can explore musical styles creatively to get out of a practice rut, to create something completely new. And this is actually a fantastic one, especially for students that are maybe a little further along in their music journey. They're working on songs for a longer period of time. Trying out different styles or different ways of playing it is fantastic. And it actually helps you learn your music better. Now, if you didn't watch last week's video, click the link above or in the description for patterns from the Baroque and classical eras of music. Music history can be fun with interactive activities like digital escape rooms, composer detective activities, musical timeline challenges, and creative improvisation. Now, I have used music history themed digital escape rooms during group lessons to dive deeper into a musical era, and getting students to work as a team instead of individually makes it even more engaging and gets those conversations going about what they're hearing and what they're reading. When one of my senior adult students was going on a trip, I picked music history themed digital escape rooms that matched up with the places that he was going to visit, so that even though he wasn't attending piano lessons, he was still getting a little bit of learning as he was on his trip in a way that was very relevant. When a student was having a rough week, and I've done this more than once, and they needed a change of pace, we worked collaboratively so that by the time we finished, my student was smiling and had many successes under their belt. I've also learned so much about music history and the fascinating composers, instruments, and genres from the Baroque era through to now when I was creating travel through time music history themed digital escape rooms. It helped me actually get excited for the first time in my life about teaching and learning about this important topic. I promise to share how to easily adapt these interactive music history activities for different ages and skill levels. So if a question or activity is too hard, ask leading questions that are going to guide your student or your child to the answer. Reduce the options if it's multiple choice. Sometimes choice can be overwhelming overwhelming. So having it that they have a 50% chance is a good option. And as you listen to the music, pause and point things out that will help them focus on a particular aspect that they need to for a question. Now, what if a question or an activity is too easy? Ask for more detail than what's required. For example, go beyond whether it's in duple or triple meter. What is the actual time signature? Ask them to explain a concept to you or demonstrate it on the piano, what it looks like and sounds like. Going beyond what is there, it allows a student to get the benefit of what they're hearing and what they're experiencing, but then also going beyond it is a great activity as well. Did you like these interactive music history activities? Next week, I'm going to be sharing how to improvise using patterns from the Romantic era to now. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, and happy playing.